Hello again, writers and authors, and welcome back to Clever Writer by Heather, where we dream big, create stories that inspire others. Now, in my last video, I shared a little bit about my educational background in working with students with learning disabilities and with English language learners. Punctuation and grammar were vital in teaching my students how to read and write in the English language. As writers and authors, we need to understand the importance of using punctuation to help our readers clearly understand the message that we want to convey in our stories. Punctuation creates pauses and accentuation in the flow of the conception of ideas that we generate in our storytelling. If you seek to be an author, or you're just here simply to improve your writing, stick around and I will share more writing tips on the usage of spaces after a period in your writing and a little history behind it. First, I want to invite you to click the subscribe button up top and click that bell so you can stay updated on my latest videos and my writing tips. In today's video, we will be looking at more punctuation rules to help you write more clearly with confidence in your writing. We will be looking at two things today. Specifically, we will be looking at the question of, do we use one space or two spaces after a period before beginning another sentence? And then we will look into a little bit of history behind that question. As an emerging author or an accomplished author seasoned in publishing, every writer needs to understand the basics of writing clearly in the English language. Now, if you feel like you're struggling to even write the first sentence of your story down, don't be discouraged. It has happened to many writers, and we all start somewhere. Here's a quote by Ernest Hemingway that I hope will bring you some inspiration in your writing. And he said, all you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. And that is an excellent place to start in our writing. Write what you know. Okay, let's jump into some more writing techniques on using periods in our writing. The question of one space or two after a period has been in discussion for some time. If you surveyed that question to a group of people, you'd find that you'd get a mix of answers. What do you think? Do we use one space or two spaces after a period to begin another sentence? And why are we even asking this question? Think about it. Was there a time when we did use two spaces? How about using one space after a period? Let's look at the following information and see if we can get these questions answered for you. There is a difference in opinion as to which technique is correct. We are told to use one space after when writing in APA style. APA style represents the American Psychological Association. This type of composing research papers is used in the area of academic studies. The Associated Press Style Book and the Chicago Manual of Style are also in agreement with this rule. The Chicago Manual of Style guides authors, editors, and publishers of books, periodicals, and journals. The AP Style Book is the prime reference for those in the news and public relations fields. So, if we are to use one space after a period, when did using two spaces change? With the introduction of the typewriter in the late 19th century, typists used two spaces between sentences to mimic the style used by traditional typesetters. While wide sentence spacing was phased out in the printing industry in the mid-20th century, the practice continued on typewriters and later on computers. We used two spaces before because the typesetters used a monospace font. This was a typeface with the same width for each character. The monospace font looks like this. See the extra spacing? Now that we use computers to type out our stories, the font used in publishing is proportional. The proportional font is any font whose different characters have different widths. and it looks like this. Now let's look at the following examples from my book, Colors of the World Adventures. We will look at what is correct and incorrect regarding spaces after a period. This pyre was tall and angular. It had a symbol on it like a triangle with the dragon's eye dead center in it, with talons encasing the angular shape. Notice the 2 spaces after the period before it begins the next sentence. This would be considered incorrect spacing in using spaces after a period before we begin the next sentence. Now let's look at the correct format and notice the single spacing between the period after angular and the beginning of the word it. That is what's considered correct spacing. Following this writing technique you learned today will help you write like a seasoned writer with confidence. Well, I hope this video helped you out today by giving you some more confidence in your writing. Today we looked at the question of, do we use 1 space or 2 spaces after a period before we begin another sentence? And we looked at the history behind that question. Now let me know if this video shed some light on that question for you today by commenting below. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. And remember what Papa Hemingway said, all you have to do is write 1 true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. And that is a great place to start as a writer. Start with what you know. All right, until next time, happy writing.